Opening scene. Background image of a map showing the US, Caribbean, and Venezuela with military icons and news headlines appearing.
November 4, 2025 may well go down as a turning point in American politics. Across the country, voters delivered message after message, and that message was heard loud and clear. From the streets of New York City to the suburbs of Virginia and the heartland of California, something shifted. In this video, we break down the key takeaways from a historic night in US elections. What changed, who won, and what it means for the next chapter. Strap in.
In New York City, the 34-year-old rising star Zohran Mamdani captured the mayoralty, making history as the city's first Muslim mayor, first person of South Asian descent, and first born in Africa to hold the post. He secured over 1 million votes, the highest tally for a mayoral candidate since 1965. His platform? Rent freezes, universal childcare, free buses. Ambitious, progressive policies aimed squarely at the cost of living crisis gripping big city America. In New Jersey, the Democrat Mickey Sherrill won the governor's race with about 56% of the vote. The campaign focused on electricity cost relief and grid expansion, hitting voters where it hurts. In Virginia, Democrat Abigail Spanberger claimed about 57.5% of the vote to become governor, along with lieutenant governor and attorney general seats falling into Democratic hands. Meanwhile, in California, voters approved Proposition 50, a redistricting measure that empowers the Democratic-led legislature to redraw congressional maps for the 2026 midterms. Each of these is significant in its own right. Together, a statement.
What lies beneath the surface of these wins? What motivated voters to swing the way they did? Here are some of the deeper dynamics. Cost of living and economic pressure. From New York to Virginia, voters are hurting. Rising rents, electricity bills, housing scarcity, these issues are front and center. In NYC, Mamdani's win was driven by his call to freeze rent increases and deliver universal childcare. In New Jersey, Sherrill zeroed in on electricity bills that had jumped 22% this year. Republican fatigue or backlash. The GOP, despite controlling major levers in Washington, found itself vulnerable. One analyst put it bluntly, shutdown, shutdown, shutdown was weighing heavily. Voters who rely on federal support, government services, or just feel the system is gridlocked often vote with their pocketbooks, even if ideology leans another way. Mapping the terrain, gerrymandering, and structural power plays. California's Prop 50 is a textbook case of structural overhaul. By shifting how congressional districts are drawn and giving Democrats more leverage, it signals game-changing strategy heading into 2026. Symbolism and generational change. Mamdani's win isn't just policy, it's symbolic. At 34, with immigrant roots, he represents a new generation and identity in American politics. That matters in a city as diverse as New York.
Let's zoom out and ask, what do these results mean for the two major parties? For the Democrats, the night is a win. They held ground, they made gains, they appear to have momentum going into the 2026 midterms. With structural tools like Prop 50, they're not just reacting, they're positioning. They're reinforcing the message that voters care about affordability, services, and generational change. For the Republicans, this was a wake-up call. Losing in states where they might have been expected to compete strongly, Virginia, New Jersey, and being shut out in marquee cities is a red flag. The party's narrative of being the dominant force is under strain. For Trump and his influence, Trump tried to position himself in the NYC race. He backed the independent challenger and threatened federal funding cuts if Mamdani won. Yet, the voters ignored it. On election night, he quickly issued a post on Truth Social, "Trump wasn't on the ballot and shut down." blaming the government shutdown for the GOP losses. The problem? Pointing to the shutdown may deflect blame, but voters still punished the party in power. Midterm implications? With 2026 on the horizon, the map looks different. If structural plays like in California hold and cost of living issues persist, Democrats might enjoy an advantageous position. Republicans will have to regroup, remessage, and bridge gaps they ignored.
Let's focus briefly on New York City. Why? Because the mayoral race reflects many of the national themes, but in one high-stakes, high-visibility package. Zoran Mamdani's victory. At 50.4% of the vote versus 41.6% for the independent Andrew Cuomo and 7.1% for Republican Curtis Sliwa. Al Jazeera. Sliwa's presence in the race didn't stop Mamdani. In fact, the margin was too large for even a consolidated anti-Mamdani vote to have changed the result, the independent. Mamdani's platform. He campaigned on freezing rents, universal childcare, and free buses, appealing to constituents facing crushing costs in the city. Al Jazeera. Symbolic impact. His election conveys to voters across America change is coming, that even entrenched political machines in NYC are challengeable. And a direct message to Trump. In his victory speech, he said, "So Donald Trump, turn the volume up." The Independent. For the channel viewer, this is not just local politics. This is a national statement.
What should you be tracking in the coming months? Redistricting battles. With California's Prop 50 passing and other states eyeing map redraws, congressional power could shift significantly in 2026. The Independent, +1. Midterm voter attitude. Are cost of living, housing, energy going to remain dominant themes? If yes, parties that address them credibly will benefit. Party realignments. Is the GOP repositioning itself after this setback? Will the Democrats consolidate their advantage or be tackled on policy substance? Key state races coming up. The blueprint seen tonight may repeat. Governor races, mayoral races, local referendums matter more than ever. Federal versus local dynamics. Cold reality. The federal government often looms in voters' minds more than local officials. Shutdowns, services, relief all shape perceptions. The GOP risk, being seen as responsible for gridlock. The Independent. So for your audience, remind them that while New York, California, Virginia, and New Jersey are big, there are dozens of other jurisdictions where these trends will play out, and they matter.
Despite the military buildup and rhetoric, President Donald Trump has publicly denied plans to launch strikes inside Venezuela itself. In a recent statement aboard Air Force One, he responded firmly with a simple no when asked whether strikes within Venezuela were being considered, seemingly downplaying earlier remarks that hinted at a willingness to take more aggressive action without a formal declaration of war. This contradiction has caused confusion both domestically and internationally. Earlier, Trump had said he believed killing drug traffickers coming into the U.S. was justified and that a formal declaration of war might not be necessary. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio dismissed reports suggesting imminent strikes, calling them false narratives in a public response. At the same time, some U.S. media and sources close to the administration suggest preparations are underway to potentially strike Venezuelan military bases, particularly those linked to the Cartel de las Soles, the military faction accused of massive cocaine trafficking operations. These facilities reportedly shield the regime's drug smuggling activities and serve as command hubs for illicit networks.
The U.S.'s internal posture bleeds outward. If full-scale nuclear testing resumes, something the U.S. hasn't done since 1992, other powers may follow. The U.S. position as a stabilizer in the nuclear arena may shift.
Trade confrontations with Canada could inspire similar moves elsewhere. And the idea of federal intervention into cities? The world is watching. Democracies, autocracies alike will read the signals. In fact, many allies may scratch their heads. Is the US becoming internally focused, or is it projecting strength abroad by first redefining strength at home?